we learnt about transition, correct? So we understood how different it is from transform, correct? We understood. So you have to tell all these things actually, not just telling transition. No. See, we'll be able to write transition. Transition can happen on all the property. Transition itself is a property. It is a shorthand for 3-4 properties actually. I mean 3-4 different properties. One is, yeah, the property, transition property. Which property to transition? Another one is transition duration. Correct? How long the transition should last. After that, we have got transition function and also transition delay. See, there are 4 components. We learned basically what each one of them will do, isn't it? As a transition property, we can control which property to transition and all that. We can also put a delay, duration, which is like 2 seconds, 3 seconds. It's expressed in even milliseconds also. So you will start seeing that the transition will play till 2 seconds, or it will basically transition from one state to other state. Simple. I have given color black and I am then giving what is called as color white. Do you remember? So color black to white, that instead of showing instant, correct? We don't want to things to show instantly. So instead we want to see that actually. We want to see that visualization, how the transformation happens. Isn't it?
Yes, sir.
That's the purpose of having a transition. And if you remember, beyond that, we also learned transitions are not good user experience. They will affect the user experience. That's why it is not recommended to have too many transitions. If you remember, correct? So we write here in the main, main, like whatever selector you want to have, to that element you will write transition, correct? So the property is transition shorthand. Okay, which property? Maybe
Yes,
all.
sir.
All is a default value, which means all the property I would like to have a transition. Then what? Maybe 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 200 milliseconds. Yeah, we can give any of this. What is a transition function? It could be linear, ease in, ease out. Do you remember? Yeah. And then we can say 0.5 or zero point 0.2 seconds delay, which means before the transition starts, I would like to have a delay, and post that the transition happens. But very important thing is when the transition happens, as and when there is a trigger. For example, over. On over, I would like to change. What I would like to change? Background color only. So whatever you're given in this trigger, right? So only those property you will see a transition. Not all the things. I might have applied other properties. Even margin get transitioned, you know, padding also get transitioned. Likewise, width also get transitioned. Many things are there. Okay. So let me show you if this transition works or not. You see now? Again goes back. Yeah. So this is what is transition.
Yes,
This is
sir.
what you have learned. With one simple example, I'm just showing you what all we have learned, and I just explained you. So you should prepare to a level of like saying this much actually. If you only tell me transition, that anyone you can remember actually. You are there for a class like almost like 1 hour to 45 minutes. You saw all the examples, and you are the one who are supposed to learn actually. All right. So with this concept, let's move on to another interesting topic. Okay, which is actually CSS units. I think I told you last time. Okay, we are going to discuss about CSS units. Uh, okay, before discussing about the units, so let me know what are the units we have already seen. What all units we have already used and seen. you have used. Okay, you got pixel, correct? We have heavily used this unit. What else?
Yes, sir.
What other units? You've used percentage. Remember?
Seconds.
Just now, yeah, time, seconds. Okay, seconds or milliseconds. Yeah, that's also unit only.
Yes,
What
sir.
what else? You used whole numbers also. Remember? 1.1, 2, -1. You've used numbers also. Correct? What else? What else you have used other than this? Did we use
M.
M? Did I talk anytime M? We also used VH, if you remember. One day I think I even did mention VH also. VH, VW, viewport units. We said these will represent a viewport. We know what is viewport.
Yes,
Yeah?
sir.
Okay. What else? Any other unit?
REF.
Like EM, RM, there, sir, but we did not,
Don't worry. I think that is what is
sir.
that class is all
Yes, sir,
about.
but we did not study about.
We did not study that. This is what is that class is all about. Now we are going to understand what is the difference. See, we'll understand what are the some of the common units which are used in CSS. What exactly PX stands for. Okay. What is percentage? I think we have studied a bit. We'll also do a revision. And then we'll understand what is a unit called M and REM. There are also other units which are there in CSS. Okay. Which is like CH. Yeah. A point. Yeah. Centimeter is also one of the unit which is available in CSS. Yeah, so these units, the ones which we have written in the top, I am just grouping it. These units are also called as absolute units. Okay, absolute in the sense they are not dependent on anything. They are not with respect to something. Yeah, pixel means pixel. That's it. It doesn't depend on any other, property or a base. Soon we'll understand what exactly you mean by that. Okay. So again, English. This is the English meaning. And there are some relative units. Okay, we have got absolute unit, we have got relative units like percentage, M, REM. So these are going to actually vary with respect to the parent, meaning they're going to vary. Simple, don't say it like okay, so they're not fixed. For example, there's also another unit. uh, yeah, percentage is like this, REM is like this. Yeah. uh, okay, so I'll just tell you. Okay, there are some more units, and there are units called viewport units. What is it? Viewport, which will actually measure the viewport. So that is what is viewport unit. And yeah, we have purely numbers. Just to give an example for numbers, we recently learned flexbox, and there are some properties which are having this whole number without having unit. Opacity is another example where we just give a value which is in like decimal. It ranges from 0 to 1, yeah, and also fractions in between. Opacity, unitless value. So whenever we have unitless value, it totally depends on the property itself. You know what I'm saying? It totally depends on that property, and meaning the meaning changes. Okay, it is not the same thing. Opacity 0 1 is not same if I use flex grow 1. So based on the context, it has a different meaning. It's just that they don't have unit. All right. And another thing is, for any of these dimensions, yeah, dimensions and length, let's say the value is 0. Example, width is 0 and height is 0. You don't have to mention the unit. You just mention 0. It means 0 only. No need to say 0 pixel. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so this is again a unitless value, which is a pure number. Okay, so this is a simple one. Now let me come to the viewport units. Yeah. Again, there is vmin and vmax also. Mani, you want to say something? No? Okay, no worries. So there is vh, vw, vmin, vmax. So can somebody tell me what is vh first of all, or vw first of all?
VH means viewport height.
Yeah, correct. Vw means viewport width. So before that, it is also important to understand what is a viewport. Now you see this white area, which is here, this rectangle white area. This is called viewport. Means which is a visible area. So whatever output or whatever thing user has to see is having only this much window, or he might be having bigger window. So this full visible white area where content can be displayed is actually called viewport. Yeah. So this is the area. So and this area width is not fixed actually. Correct? Do you see now it has some width? Now it has some other width. Yeah, now it has some more width. And same goes for height also. Correct? What if I open in a laptop and in a TV or maybe in a desktop? Yeah, on a desktop monitor if I open, so it is going to differ, correct? So it is not a fixed unit. So it also comes under like, yeah, we can say variable unit. It is not like fixed. So do you understand what is VH and VW? Sometimes I think we have seen the use cases. Yeah, we have seen the use case. Okay, first thing, I guess you understood now what is viewport and what is VH and what is VW. Okay, so I'll also tell you some examples like, okay, how we have used VH and all. Any idea like how we can use VH and VW? Anybody? Nobody? Nobody knows how do we use VH?
Sir, like when we building HTML page, it will extend like downwards. It will extend, not sir. There we will use like I thought.
Guys, just a second. I got a call to answer. Okay, let's continue. I think I'm going to get a call. I'll just answer that time. Yeah, so you said you want to go? I mean, something you said down. What was it? The down part of it? Kushal, you tried answering something.
So yes, sir.
Yeah, what was the answer?
Sir, like while building HTML page, like the content will increase, no sir. Like
Exactly. Content will increase, but you don't know how much it
uh,
will increase.
yes, sir.
So by using VH and VW, we can set that height and width of that viewport.
So we see they are already representing the viewport height and viewport width. Okay, okay, but they're they're not again fixed actually, correct? So if viewport is changing, then it is also going to change. Yeah, yes, they represent viewport height and width. That's for sure. But then on top of this, yeah, so we have used these units actually. I just want to know where do I use this? Why I have to use it? If you remember the one example that we have, so we know that, okay, for example, body element. Can you tell me what is the height of this body? Height of this body element?
They taken default to viewport height.
No, no. It has not taken default viewport height. You see, I have applied 1 pixel border to the body element, not to the box. Now you see, it is,
So auto.
yeah. So height is auto. Again, it based on the content. It doesn't occupy the full width. I mean, the full height. But what if I want body to have a full height? Okay, so the use case that we have already discussed is the other day we saw how to center this element. Remember, I want to have a box and I would like to center that element exactly in the middle. How did we do it? How did we do it? Yes, all we did was we made that, okay, we made, so I'm fixing the height because it doesn't have a content, my box doesn't have a content. So now you see body is also same height. Now what I'm saying, height, I'm fixing it to be 100 VH. But then by default, browser will add some margin to the body, so I'll have to clear it by using margin 0. Okay, I've added some margin 0. But still I see a scroll. Okay, let me add padding 0 also. Let's see what happens. Yeah, it's not going. So, okay. So let me add for both HTML, comma body, margin 0, padding 0. That way I just want to clear it. Okay. Okay, still it is not going. I think it is because of the code pen. So no worries. Body only has a margin. Yeah, as I know. Fine. Now here, as you see, I am trying to make body as 100 VH, but just for illustration purpose, I'll make it 98, because otherwise you don't see the border. You see that? The border, okay, is not seen. Sorry, I think I was also making another mistake. The mistake why it was not making, having a scroll is because this adds up to the, height and width. Do you remember? Box model we have learned. 1 pixel on top, 1 pixel on bottom. Both adds up to 100 plus 2.
Yes, sir.
Exactly, right? So we also have a function called calci. Let me just tell you, calci of 100 VH minus 2 pixel. Let's see if the scroll comes or not. Do you see a scroll now? No. Correct? Scroll didn't come. Earlier scroll was there. Remember? And the reason is because of this 2 pixel. Which why? Because border. Border adds up to the width, if you remember. When? When the box sizing is, okay, box sizing is content box. Remember? You told content box is there. But then we can also make border box. Remember? In that case, I don't have to subtract. I can just give purely 100 VH. I think this is the first best example to tell you what is border box and content box. Now you see, though I kept 100 VH and border is coming within this height only. Earlier by default it was coming, you know, extra beyond this height. That's why the scroll. You want to see it again? Just see. Scroll is there. Scroll is there.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So now we understood this, but then I don't want to just give height. I also have to give minimum height, so that the body takes full height. Let me put 99 so that I see the border. Maybe 98 is also good. Yeah. Okay, I think I only see the body. Yeah, being there. That's fine. Maybe I think I should not clear this margin which I've given, so that we see, you know. Okay, so we see its border. So now you see I've put minimum height, and you also understood why I put minimum height. Otherwise body is auto, height is auto, so which means it takes only the height of the content. Now here I can use the other things that we have learned. What we have learned? Top 50%, if you remember, left 50%. Yeah, so this for what? I would like to align this box, so then I have to actually apply to the box, not to the body. How? Top 50%, left 50%, and then transform, translate, minus 50%, minus 50%. Remember now? So is it coming exactly in center now?
No, sir.
No. What happened to the box?
Mm,
Why
with
is it?
position load.
Why is it? No need of position for this. All I'm using is transform. Okay. Translate, minus 50, minus 50. Interesting. Why it is not working now? Have I done something wrong? Not really. Okay. How do we debug? Yes, we know how to debug CSS.
So I think this transform is only it will work for inline element.
No. The other day we understood it works for block and inline block. Okay. Yeah. The thing is position property is missing. One of you told me. Yeah. So we have to make position actually. Without position it will not move. It is like static. That's what the inspect was telling. DevTools was telling. So on a static element you are giving left and right. No, I am not going to move. You see this? Yeah. So it says on a static element, position static property prevents left from having any effect. Okay. Understood. So position absolute I have to give, or any of the position I have to give at least. Now see exactly in the center. So this is one of the use case to just make it center. But then there are a lot of other use cases. I'll tell you. Okay, I'm not going to give you all that. So let's say I have a desktop page or a page which I'm designing. Assume this is I'm designing a page for a mobile, and I would like to have a header. You know what I'm saying? This is a very common use case. At least I have seen. This is an header. Imagine I also have a footer. What I'm having? I'm also having a footer. What happens like if I don't have a content in that page, or I have only very less content in the page? You know what I'm saying? Here I have little content which is written. What happens? Footer will float up. Footer will come onto the top. Agree?
Yes, sir.
Yeah?
Yes, sir.
Because there is less content. So footer will just come. I cannot again. So the best way, okay, we can also do using position and then fix this particular footer. But what we do, we fix height of this container. Okay, I'll just write again. Height of this container such a way that I will take the full height of this. In that I will subtract header height and footer height. That way I get how much height I should fix it for the center part. So that this will even though it is empty, I want it to take full width so that footer stays in the bottom only. Did you get what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Again, I repeat. So for this center portion, if I give a remaining height so that footer will stay in the, you know, in the bottom, yeah, even when the content is very less. If I don't fix the height, then footer will float onto the top. It will come onto the top. Now, how much height I should fix without having scroll? The height I should be fixing is how much? I don't know. I have to go, in that case, 100 VH minus header height minus footer height. This is the equation I'll apply. Through this, I will apply the width for that center element. Sorry, height. In this case, height, correct? I have to apply height. So here again, I'm going to use 100 VH. Clear? Okay. Try this layout. Okay. Try this layout, and maybe in the next class we will discuss. You will understand. So try to place header and footer. You only have some content, and try using position, and try using this technique also. What I am just telling now. Yeah. So for this, we have to use a function called calc to subtract the from this 100 VH. All right. So this is a use case of why we use viewport units, and these are responsive units. So CSS is kind of by default responsive, which means things should work actually even in, so responsive means so should work fine in both mobile as well as whatever devices, yeah, device independence basically. That's what is responsive. These units are all responsive units. They will change. Viewport change, they also adjust. Okay, so this is about viewport units, but let me quickly brief about what is vmin and vmax. Again, let me go back to the viewport. I'll take a example of mobile viewport only. Now tell me which one is minimum and which one is maximum in this, VH or VW? Which one is minimum in this? In this viewport, I have drawn a viewport. There's a box I have drawn. Tell me which is minimum. No, you didn't understand my question. So imagine this is my viewport. This is how it is looking like. Which is minimum?
Width, sir.
Width is minimum, correct? Okay. So which is maximum?
No, sir. Maximum
In this viewport, which is a maximum value? VH, correct?
100%.
Height is maximum, correct? Compared to width. Yeah. Least is VW. In this case, the least is VW because this is minimum. So that is what is V minimum actually. In this case, VH is maximum. That's what is V max. But I just now I was telling viewport is not fixed, it is responsive. What if my viewport is rotated like this? I'm holding my mobile like this. Now, which is V minimum? VH, which is V maximum? VW, correct? So basically we have units like viewport minimum, viewport maximum. So based on the viewport size, okay, so we don't know, we cannot fix it to whether its height is maximum or width is maximum. So it will adjust according to that. Clear? Viewport height and viewport uh, width, minimum and maximum values. Okay, so those are actually viewport units. All right. So with the viewport units, we are coming to, the reverse, not from bottom up approach, not the top down approach. All right. So we understood what are viewport units. We understood what are numbers. We have also have some classification. What are this? And viewport units are responsive. So it is preferred to use responsive units in CSS for I mean that's the default nature of all the properties and things. So you have to use more responsive units than fixed units. So these absolute units are actually, in contrast, they are all fixed units. Okay, they don't change. Fine, I'll come to that. So now let's understand about relative units. Yeah, we have got percentage, m, rem. So any idea what is percentage? What exactly is a percentage? Did we discuss this unit already? Yeah. So percentage unit we already discussed. Again to reiterate, so it always depends on the parent element. Yeah, I'll take my words back. Most of the time it goes with percentage, meaning percentage goes with parent element, which means, for example, I have a small box now. I gave you an example of box and then I had a body. When I mention for certain values, percentage for the child element, I'm talking in the child selector, if I mention percentage, then it is relative to parent's value. And most of the case it is parent's width actually. Again I repeat, for a child element or a child selector, if I am using percentage values, most of the case it is with respect to, it is with relative to the parent's value. It could be either parent's width or it could be parent height when percentage is used. I mean, in general, you know already percentage. Percentage is always with respect to something, correct? You have total marks. Okay, you got maybe 500 out of 600. So it is relative to this, correct? 600, which is total marks. Same way here. When you say percentage, 50% I have given. Top 50% I have given. Which means what? Out of so much, this is 50%. Then what is the total? The total will be calculated with relative to the parent's dimension, be it width or be it even height also. Okay, height, again this is with respect to the width. Yeah, I am saying most of the case. Let me show you an example. Already we have an example which is working here. Now you see now, 50% is what I've given for top, 50% is what I've given for left. Do you see that it is still exactly in the center? Correct? Actually the 50-50 comes in the center of this box, not here. And I've explained this example also the other day when I was giving transform. Okay, I did say that this percentage top and left. Okay, so now you see top is with respect to the, what, parent, which is in this case body. Okay, body's height. Otherwise, how come we would have got exactly the center? If this was not taking the parent's height, how come you would have got exactly the center? In that I have given 50%, which means from top I am shifting it by 50%. When I am giving left, okay, it is with respect to, tell me what, parent width value. Though I have given the value percentage to the child element as I was just describing, now it is going with respect to the parent. What is the parent of this element? The body element. Now what is the body height and width? Accordingly, these two values are getting adjusted. Just to give an example. On top of this, what you also have to understand, yeah. So let's say if I apply margin, or let's say if I apply padding, that case also it is going with respect to which one? The parent's width actually. The value will be taken according to the parent's width. Yeah. So it is not just for margin padding. Let's say even if I mention, okay, width. value, then it is with respect to the parent width. Margin, padding, left as well as right. For these set of properties, it is calculated with respect to for parent only. Percentage, first thing is most of the case it is with respect to parent, but yeah, whether width or height, these all these properties are going to with the parent width. And other properties like top, bottom, yeah, and height. These are calculated with respect to which one? The parent element height. You have to remember this. It takes some time, but then very easy to understand. Okay, horizontal, most of them, even including margin and padding. So I said most of the case, but then there is one last case. The last case is whenever we are using translate, this is one such example, yeah, the corner case, where this percentage refers to the actual box itself, not with relative to parent. I'll repeat, yeah, in very few cases, like translate, percentage with respect to, you know, or it is relative to that element itself, not with respect to any other element. And this is what is percentage. And percentage is also not a fixed unit. It varies, meaning which is also a responsive unit. And it is also recommended to use units like percentage. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So then let's move on to, I think we have got few more units to understand. Again, there are a lot of units, but I think these are the basic units you should know. Okay, let me talk about M and REM. So what exactly M stands for? Okay, M as a unit stands for one character M, one uppercase M character, which means, let's say if I am displaying something like, you know, I am displaying M now. Can you tell me what is the size of this M? By default, font size is 16 pixel. Yeah, this M is 16 pixel. What if I change the, font size of this box? Can you tell me what is the size of that M? What is the size of this M? This capital M?
16 pixels.
20 pixel
Now,
now. Now 20 pixel. Earlier it was 16 by default. Now it's 20 pixel. So, okay, we use one CSS unit, which is also a relative unit, which is called EM. We denote it as EM. We say unit of one M character, one capital M character. We don't say 20 pixel, 30 pixel. No. How much ever M is there, that much I want to take it. Yeah, which means I can give 1M, 2M, 3M. So generally it is used for fonts. What it is used for? Fonts actually. Okay, now it represent 2 times the M value. Now if M character has become 20, then it is become 40 pixel. Yeah, final computed value becomes 40 pixel. You see here it is with respect to this M value. So it is not the final value. So it is again a computed value which is 40 pixel. So this is why the reason like, okay, relative to something. Earlier we also saw it is relative to the parent's width or parent's height. Now we have studied earlier, there is a concept called inheritance. What we have studied? We have studied a concept called inheritance. And we know that font size is also a property which inherits. Do you agree? Font size as a property, it inherits. For example, now if I have a span within this element, tell me if I write on M inside this span, what would be the font size of that M? I'm saying I am going to write one M here. Imagine I'm going to write, I've written. So what would
Pixels.
be the size of that M?
Default default 30.
Defaultly 16 pixels.
See, nowhere here I have mentioned M. Do you see I have mentioned? Just now,
60 pixel.
just now you are telling default value, but now the default value will be overridden by inherited value also, na? There is an inherited value. See, default when from nowhere it is able to find the value. That's when it is default. But then there's an inherited value comes into picture. Why? Because the parent has a font size.
Okay, sir.
Parent has a font size. In that case, this M is going to get 20 pixel. See, that's why they both became same.
Yes, sir.
Do you get it? Yeah. So this is inheritance. So default when it will come, if I cannot even get a inherited value, then it goes for default. As you said, that is right. But then font size as general property, it is inherited. Now let me show you interesting thing. I'll make a dot box, and then I'll say instead of inherited value, I'll give an explicit value, which I'll say 1 em. No change, which is the same thing, right? 1 em is 20 pixel. This is also looking 20 pixel. Now look at another thing. Okay, I'll add one box on one more element here. Maybe a paragraph with one word called lorem. Now look at that. For that lorem also I will add a font size 1 em. Can you tell me how big that m will become now? I'm adding a div. Okay, okay, I'm adding a div, another div with just a single word called lorem. That also I have some m. Can you tell me how, if I put one m here, how big that size will be? Or what is the size of that m which is displayed here?
Same size.
Same size as it? It is not same size. It is 16 pixel.
Yes, sir. Same, like
16
16
pixel.
pixels.
16 pixel. Why? Because body doesn't have its own different font size. It is having body doesn't have a font size, so then it is 16 by default. Then the same 16 will get carry forward to para. So that's what you. So now what I'm trying to show you, you see, I use the same unit here and also here, but one will have a bigger size, another will have a this will have a bigger size, this will have a different size. Though I mentioned one unit. Why the different behavior? Because it is relative unit. It is not fixed to something. It changes. Now you see the another interesting thing. Assume like I'm increasing the font size of this box. Okay, 25 pixel. What I'm increasing? 25 pixel. Maybe I'll make it 30 pixel. Do you see it is growing bigger? Interesting.
Okay.
No, it didn't increase, correct?
Yes.
Return. Okay. Oh wait. This is another thing. Okay. This is another thing. It is for the same selector I'm writing. Do you see that? Okay. I'm supposed to add it for not for the box, the span inside that box. See, here I add value, there also add value. That's why it was not overriding. Now what I'm saying is, for the span, I'm giving 1m. See how big it has become. For para, I've given 1m. See, do you see they are comparable? They are nowhere comparable. You understood what is m now with this?
Yes.
Yeah. So for simple understanding, it is just equal to size of one capital letter M. But then it is not same. It is going to vary. Why? Because font size is again inherited value. So yeah, if the font size of this element varies, then obviously one M value also will vary as per that. Simple. Okay. So all this you will remember if you use it, if you practice it. Not just by leaving it today you listen and then come back after some time. Yeah, these are all very important concepts, just to tell you. Okay, what happened? Okay, so let's move on. So we understood M now. Okay, now I got another question. What is REM then? What is
Sir,
REM?
sir, 1 EM means how many pixels? Sir?
Okay, just now I told you it is not, you will have to calculate it. It is, that element is going to get a computed value. But we cannot say 1 EM is how much just by looking at this value only. And there is no fixed value. Ajay, you have to remember this. 1 EM is not a fixed value. If this element has a font size or its parent element has a font size of 16, then this is also 1m is 16. If parent has 30, then this is going to become 30. Okay, if I have to give you a layman example, what is the value of $1 tomorrow in rupees? Can you tell me? Tomorrow, what is the value of $1 in rupee?
That's varying, sir.
It is going to
Every day.
vary. Then you are, so you're asking me a question, can you tell me what is $1 tomorrow? No, it is going to vary, but it is going to vary with respect to, yeah, the parent value, especially when we use it mostly for font size and also for sometimes even we use it for width also, but then yeah, width and other height properties. Okay, but then it is going to vary based on the m value what is there for this element. Again, m value is determined by the font size, correct? The size of m is determined by font size. I'm saying we can use it for width also. Width I can say 20 m for this box. Since it's a span and it's an inline element, I cannot increase it, but just to, okay, I mean I cannot change it again. So all the formulas will slowly start applying. You guys see now, I can apply width as 5m. I don't want to fix it to something. I want it to be responsive. Now what is this m? That m is okay. How much is one single capital letter M in this? That's how the calculation goes. Again, how do I calculate that? Does it have a font size? Yes, it has 30 pixel. Then this is 5 into 30. 1m is 30, so this is 5 into 30. Clear now?
Sir,
Kushal, yeah.
sir, normally while building web applications, is there any like preferred pixels or like size
I'll come to that.
to
I'll come to that. I've been telling the same thing. So it's mostly preferred to use relative units than fixed absolute units, which are mostly fixed. Why? The answer I've been telling is they are responsive units. Okay, percentage is also responsive. Viewport units are also responsive. So it is preferred to use relative units and viewport units. I'll come to that. I'll come to Also one more point, okay, why do we have fixed units and when do I use it?
Okay, sir.
We'll come to that. Okay, fine. So far did you understand what is M? How we are going to use? If you understood M, then REM is dead easy now. Okay, REM is dead easy. How? Let me tell you. R in REM stands for root. What is REM? Yeah, root. Okay, element M value. What is the root element of HTML? Let me show you. Inspect, and let's see the root value. What is the root element of this document? HTML. What is it? HTML is a root element of this entire document. Now I am considering the M value of that element, not my immediate parent element. For example, earlier I had I had span. So this span M value was again determined by what is the value of font size in this div. What if I put another element? Then that for this element it was determined again based on its parent. And that's why you saw 1M here is different, 1M here it is different. Why? Because they have different parent element. That is the reason they had different size, correct? You see now? This has different size, this has different size. Though I am using same unit. But then in case of
Yes, sir.
REM, there is only one root element for every HTML document, which is HTML itself. So REM stands for how much is the pixel of that HTML element. By default, yes, it is 16 pixel. So now instead of mentioning 16 pixel, which is a fixed unit, we use REM unit to say how much ever is HTML, that much you take. Sometimes we even reset it to 10 also for a different reason to make our calculation bit easy and straightforward. 10 2s are 20, 10 3s are 30. Instead of 16 ones are 16, 16 2s are, you have to count in on the 16 ones a table or 16 table 16. Okay, so let's not get into all that. So REM simply means now it is with respect to not its immediate parent, it is with respect to the root HTML element. You are taking the value of 1M, and that is always fixed. You apply it to whichever element, which means if I put one REM here, one REM here, you see that now both are same, though their parent have different font size. Why? Because all the elements are referring to one common element. Now let's say in case I change the font size for HTML element saying font size as 10 pixel, both will change because now everything is related to that root element, and this is the preferred unit. This is also the preferred unit than using pixel. Let's say you want to use for width and all the things. Okay, suggestion is to use REM than using pixel value. Am I clear what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's understand one more unit. I think otherwise it's going to become too lengthy to grasp everything. And this is also one of the unit we use. So we have another unit called pixel. We also have unit called CH, but in practice we have seen only PX, and that is what is mostly used also. Again, CH is very less used. Uh, there's also another unit. Okay, I forgot. Yeah, we have a big list. So if I go into MD and CSS units, I think we get all that list. Now let me show you, if I can show you what is pixel unit. I'll try to show you one pixel also. How does it look like? And this is nowhere corresponds to your device pixel. Do you understand what I mean by device pixel? So in device you have pixel, correct? You will say pixel, 2 megapixel, 3 megapixel, 4 megapixel.
Yes, sir.
No, it is nowhere related to that megapixel. This is actually, do you see it? Not exactly. Okay, let me open another website called Figma. Let's see if I can show you. And I just, so have you seen this, pixelated? Okay, let me show you. This, I'm just connecting this, pixelated image, which means, have you seen this kind of images?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So sometimes if you take a smaller image and try to make it zoom or make it bigger, you will start seeing a pixels. Correct? This is what if we have
Yeah.
pixel. So in the same thing, I was just trying to show the same thing on my screen. If I Z zoom in and if I see, then I'll start seeing slowly what I'll start seeing. I'll see the pixels. Okay. So like this. Okay. This is what is a, in a 1 pixel. 1 pixel represents one cell that we are seeing here. You see this cell?
Sir, like it is related to a screen pixels, sir.
No, that's
Like
what I'm trying to say. No, pixel nowhere corresponds to even the screen also. It is a fixed unit. Yeah. So it's also called an absolute unit. It is not going to change. You put in this screen, 1 pixel is same. You put in a bigger or smaller viewport, 1 pixel is same. As simple as imagine you have got 1 centimeter. Do you think it is going to be changed?
no, sir.
Do you think 1 centimeter is going to change from one screen to other screen? Not at all. We have got CM unit also in CSS. Then what is the purpose of this? Yeah. So, okay. Now before me telling like, oh, okay, why it is and all. So we use pixel unit. Pixel doesn't corresponds to any of the device pixel or to the, the physical pixels of the screen. Okay. Or the device. Okay. So it is just a unit which says, okay, one single pixel on the viewport basically. Yeah. And this unit we use it for smaller values, for more accurate values. Let's say if I have a value which is less than 10 pixel, okay, I have a value which is less than 10 pixel in anything. For example, width, it could be border. You see, we put 1 pixel, correct? Yeah, or 2 pixel. So in those kind of dimensions, for those kind of lengths, it is recommended to use pixel. Yeah, okay. So
Yes, sir.
that's the point of having pixel, and that's how the recommended way to use pixel. If at all you have higher value, then you choose from the other units, be it REM, be it value like VW, yeah, vmin, vmax, the viewport units, the percentage units. So recommended is use that, not the pixel. Pixel you should not use. Why? The reason because pixel is going to be fixed. But CSS is most meant for to be responsive. Width is not fixed. Height is also not fixed. We say auto. Correct. Viewport height is also not fixed. But if you start fixing it, your pixel, your will value will not change if I increase or decrease the viewport. That is the reason we say no, stop using pixel. Otherwise, your page will not become responsive. So it is used commonly, but for a value which is to be very accurate. But then why did they have this unit? The answer they say is CSS was not designed just for screens. Just for making it responsive, it was not designed. CSS is also used, let's say, for printing. I would like to print a PDF from this page. So in that case, it has to be exactly matched, right? The size of the paper is A4 or A3, they are all fixed, correct? And centimeter is also fixed value.
Yes, sir.
So for those use cases, especially for even for printing also we use CSS. Yeah, we have a media type which is called print itself. So in those cases, we use these absolute units. Yeah, these are all absolute units. You see there are so many units. Yeah, I just told you a few of them. Again, relative units, M, REM, okay, VH unit, VWO. They're also grouped as viewport unit, but these are also kind of relative to the height and width. Okay, so yeah, I think with this I've covered most commonly used unit. What is the difference? Which one to use? Which one not to use? And these are whatever I've covered. Mostly these are the ones which are used, and you should be knowing these units. Simple. And also the difference and the use case, like for example, percentage. How is it different? What it is and all.